So we're waiting for that stream to show up. Come on, Mr. Stream. Let me see. Let me hear my squeaky voice. 19 seconds. There we go. We are styling. We showed up in 23 seconds when I finally got over to that page. Let's get on with the show here. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Elaine. And everybody. I'm assuming all is good. Let's start the show off. Tis the morning of the Friday the 13th, 2016. And I'm Dana Durnford, your host and nuclear proctologist.org. You can find these videos throughout the internet and live stream them at Beautiful Girl and Boy Dana. We actually started this week. This past Monday is Friday the 13th. And we have a good show today. Big show today. We have updates from yesterday. We have documentation to get through about Fukushima. And we have an urgency like no other broadcast on this planet. We were talking about living in an environment where we're being lied, manipulated, and deceived constantly, where we're being demonized and harassed and attacked for trying to have a conversation about Japan because we don't talk about bananas or potato chips or walking in the sunshine. You're going to get a bit of scratchy going on. Hang on. Forgot to swing my microphone over. Forgetting everything all the time. So for the good stuff, never forget the good stuff. Good morning, everybody. Alex, Shoni, Amthurst, everybody. Nip Killer, Albert, Miss Milky, Jan Brooks. Yep, Miss Milky the Clown one over there. Now I'm going to start today off once again. Why are we in this problem? Why am I having to do this every day? Why are people thinking it's like a banana? Why are levels being raised to excess beyond anything conceivable? And when you compare them to the animal studies of what they're doing, it's a genocide and an ecocide. Because the experts won't talk about the animals' experiments for the last 70 years. They've been doing radiation on animals for 70 years. So the first one coming up is Kathleen Higley. Now, just to lay the groundwork for everything, the reactor you're looking at behind me, this is where they're shooting neurons through. It's like an X-ray, looking for the core. Now, you can see at the top of the building, that's the two fuel pools at the top of that building. And so this is applicable for unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And if we talk about, say, unit 3, there is no top of the building. So both of the fuel pools that you were looking at are gone. And they're gone way up. This is a better way of putting it. And that, which is unit 3 you're looking at. But also unit 4 is totally destroyed. Unit 1 is destroyed. And we know unit 2, everything is gone out of that. Now, you take the reactors out of the core and you put it on the roof. There is no roof. There is no roof at that building or that building. And remember, in that building in particular, that building, they tore it down until there's nothing left. And then they ended up with that. And they put a little kind of a Kevlar sarcophagus over it. And then they pretend it's like that on the inside, right? And so that's Seth Dorn.
Of the decommissioning work taking place here in Reactor 4.
At the end of our tour, we were checked for radiation exposure. In 4 hours, I received the equivalent of less than a chest X-ray.
X-rays and neutrons from the chain reaction, they'll melt your organs in 40 minutes.
A rare look inside the damaged nuclear plant in Fukushima, Japan. Nearly 3 years after the earthquake and tsunami, the plant is still emitting radiation.
Well, Miles O'Brien claimed he was inside of Unit 4. Wait for it. But anyway, if you go watch their documentary, he goes through the whole scoopy-doopy, pretends he's inside Unit 4. But Unit 4 was torn apart. It doesn't look anything like what they're showing you. Unit 3 is the same way, Unit 1 is the same way. So, very quick explanation for you to understand why we're being, like, and this lady, Kathleen Higley.
Catherine, you are one of the world experts in radiation.
This is just a short video, but this really tells the story of why we can't have a conversation, because the same people who, the handful of lawyers, the 100 lawyers, are on all the same IAEA, ERPA, Atomic Energy, all the regulatory agencies are the same people. And we flushed them out as bananas, potato chips, peddlers, which is an absolute abomination as somebody with an academic degree. And she'll never let you know. But let's play a clip of Kathleen. It's 3 minutes. And you got to listen to it. You got to understand it. You got to appreciate what's really going on here. This is the Washington Press Club. You see Miles O'Brien is sat in the middle. You can see TEPCO sat to the left-hand side, the second one from the left-hand side, or right-hand side. And so let's play this clip.
When I was trying to pull this talk together, not only will I sort of get a little philosophical about the impacts and the like and try to put things in context, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about who are these radiation experts that get trotted out in events like this, or that get to participate in various activities and analysis to make pronouncements about is something safe or not safe. And if you look, you'll see organizations that are often represented. The ICRP, International Commission on Radiological Protection, a premier organization. You'll see UNSCEAR and ERPA. So UNSCEAR is the United Nations Scientific Committee on the Effects of Atomic Radiation. ERPA, the International Radiation Protection Association. The IAEA and some of its folks, the International Atomic Energy Agency. Our own U.S. NCRP. And then there are a number of other organizations. So there's PAHO, there's the Health Physics Society, there's World Health Organization. All of these will bring in, as necessary, experts to speak to you on issues related to radiation protection, radiation safety, and impacts. But if you go a little deeper and you start looking at these organizations, the ICRP, for example, very well known. It's been operating nearly 100 years, not quite. Main commission, 10 people. It's got 5 standing committees. So it's 100-ish folks. I lead one of the 5 committees. If you look at the United Nations Scientific Committee on the Effects of Atomic Radiation that looked at the effects from...
So you can see all the pictures down on the right-hand side of the people, right? See Kathleen Higley at the top in the center, in the right-hand bottom corner of the people. But 100 people are controlling our destiny. And these are disgusting parasites upon the entire planet. Let's keep playing.
From Chernobyl, from Fukushima, from other areas. And that has about 30, roughly, countries that are represented in that group. If you start teasing through these pictures, you're going to see the same people on every one of those organizations. So
the same people on every one of those organizations, the same traders, the same manipulators, the same lying, highly educated experts.
The same people from ICRP are on UNSCEAR, they're in ERPA. If you look at the NCRP, again, the U.S. organization that advises the country on radiation protection issues, it's 100 people. A lot of gray-haired 100 people. And
a lot of dinosaurs that have murdered inconceivable, unimaginable amount of people.
Most of them are part of UNSCEAR, are part of ERPA, are part of ICRP, participate in IAEA. So the result, or the real world, is that there's not that many folks that really do radiation safety.
Yeah, because you got to be soulless and heartless and no morals whatsoever to come out and tell people it's like a banana and a potato chip. These are the most despicable, most maniacal mass murdering freaks of nature that are not human, but pretend they're human.
Nuclide transport, dose calculations, all of this in the world. It's a pretty small club. And we wear 20 hats. Today I put on 3 pins, and I could put on a whole bunch more.
I bet you could.
But Health Physics Society, ICRP, Certified Health Physicist, I've got NCRP on there, I've done IAEA. And so the point is,
a professor.
We're a small group, you should cherish us.
Now listen to the press club. Look at him, man. Look at Miles O'Brien in the middle, and look at every one of them with a big stupid grin on their face, laughing at that's a personal joke. You get it? They don't give a fuck about you. They're laughing at you. The press club is laughing. They know exactly what's going on there. They're sitting there all relaxed with their arms around you. It's the most frightening video imaginable. It's the most frightening statement imaginable. It's the biggest betrayal imaginable. It's the biggest betrayal of academics, period, bar nothing. Except for cigarettes. Cigarettes got 7,000 chemicals. Chemicals. Mine don't. But there's 100 experts on cigarettes. And that's the same people that were telling you for the last 50 years the mice never died when they got nicotine. But it wasn't. It was 7,000 chemicals. Mine don't got 7,000 chemicals. Don't lose your mind because I had a couple puffs on a cigarette without 7,000 chemicals. I can't trust any smoked a cigarette without 7,000 chemicals. But you can find expert after expert after expert telling you nicotine is going to give you cancer. You got any idea how twisted and demented that statement is? It's no more different than what Catherine is telling you. 100 experts. And we flush these people out. John Boyce is sitting there. Miles O'Brien is sitting there. Now, think about this tsunami. It's coming through the country. And there's not even can survive that. That's a wood chipper coming through the country. You'll understand that as this clip plays out. So if there's a nuclear power plant, and it was, this is 400 miles of the coastline. But the nuclear power plants were fine, Dana. That's what Catherine and all the experts have told you. No, Dana, that destroyed 400 kilometers of coastline, but the nuclear plants didn't get damaged, and they didn't release anything, Dana. If it did, it was like a banana, Dana. Look at this. Do you think 400 miles of the coastline? My headphone's smurfing up on me again. What do you think that's doing to all those buildings? What do you think that's doing to all those structures, all the telephone poles, all the infrastructure? So one wave comes in, the next wave comes in on top of that, the next wave comes in on top of that. They're coming in at 600 miles an hour. As they get close to shore, they slow down at 100. Think about that's the reactor building. That's exactly what happened. I'll show you pictures after the nuclear power plant. But this is what happened at 15 power plants. 15. Not just the Fukushima Daiichi, but 15. This is why Catherine exists. Look at this. This is a wood chipper. This is a nuclear power plant. This is emblematic, and I'll show you the documentation coming up, of 400 kilometers of the coastline. This is the power plant itself you're looking at right now. It's the first wave, and all the waves coming on top of it. The buildings are blowing up, but nothing got out, Dana, but the buildings blew up. But nothing got out, Dana. But the buildings blew up. The fuel pools were on the roof. Yeah, Dana, but they're okay. We got water into them. No, you didn't. How could you when the tsunami came through and 400 miles of the coastline was wrecked like a wood chipper? See, what I'm going to show you next, that tsunami, look, running through the power plant, it's doing the same thing you just looked at. Now, Catherine and the rest of them, they exist because they want you to think that that power plant, and you know, that even though they blew up, ignore all that, ignore the official picture. This is your scientist, and just go along with TEPCO. Here's TEPCO 1 month ago. If this doesn't fucking make you outraged, then there's something wrong with you.
And Fukushima Daiichi stage, right after the accident, it was of course the emergency condition. But right now, gradually became the decommissioning stage, or more stable decommissioning stage. And that's that, as I mentioned, the successful completion of the dismantle of the spent fuel from the Unit 4. It's about 1533 bundle from the Unit 4.
That's the press club, Washington.
Carefully
that was all those
manipulate
that audience was laughing.
And successfully
That's the same one.
Removed
Catherine Higley. Catherine Higley sat there with him. He sat there while she's talking, ignoring that it actually looks like that, ignoring that it really truly looks like that, ignoring that it looks like that. Okay. Because look, the tsunami is real, okay? Go ask her. Go ask him. Go ask the people that lived there. Think about 400 kilometers of coastline. The red is the people that died from the tsunami, from that. They died because that thing there came through 400 kilometers of the coastline where there's all the nuclear power plants. And there's 15 reactors were in that area, and TEPCO, Fukushima governor, demanded strongly too that TEPCO decommission and dismantle 10 out of the 15 that we know about. And he done that because the people that died is the evidence that the damage was there, besides the photography and the videos I showed you, and besides the fact there's 30 million one-ton bags. 30 million one-ton bags, 5 lanes of traffic, bumper to bumper, one-ton trucks with a one-ton bag in each of them. 5 lanes of traffic right around the planet. 5 lanes of traffic out of 4 buildings. 5 lanes of traffic out of 15 buildings, whatever. 5 lanes of traffic of one-ton trucks with 2,200 pounds in the back of them. Do you got any idea how much waste that is? And that's only a tiny insignificant fraction of what's actually out there. But it's 5 lanes of traffic right around the planet. And every accident will do that. And they've had many, and they've never told you, Catherine and TEPCO and people like that come out and buried it. And the press buried it. The academics buried it. Nobody come out and spoke out against these people. Nobody come out and articulated. It's not like a banana strongly enough. Well, we do it every day because we got no choice. We do it every day because that's the reality. We do it every day because that's the fable for 70 years. We do it every day because that's the moral compass that we got no option. Yeah, it never destroyed that, but it destroyed the rest of the country, okay? It never destroyed the nuclear power plant, even though there's the official picture of it being destroyed. Yeah, it destroyed the tanks at the power plant, but it didn't destroy the power plant. But it did. So when David Suzuki said, and you're looking at number 4 right now, when David Suzuki said, if number 4 goes, it's bye-bye Japan, and to evacuate North America. Well, you can see the building is destroyed down to nothing. Okay. Diagnosing Fukushima. Let's just listen to that for 1 minute.
Removal of this melted fuel is a crucial part of...
Now, at the top of the buildings are the fuel pools. They're long gone, yeah? They're gone! They're gone! But here's the story.
The plant's decommissioning, and a key requirement is to locate the debris inside the reactor.
It blew out of the reactor.
So far, many attempts have been made to understand conditions inside the reactor.
They're getting bombarded not by the radiation that's not killing them. It's the X-rays and the neutrons from the fuel rods that blew up and are all over the place.
but the radiation level is too high for human beings to go inside. To address the issue, TEPCO will use a technology that employs muon cosmic ray particles to
shoot through a building.
The reactor's
wait for it. They're going to shoot through a building that doesn't exist.
Muons are subatomic.
See, that building doesn't exist. How are you going to go in and find out what's there when it's not there? I just showed you all the pictures. I'll show you again in a bit. But it's not there. How are you going to do it to two buildings in particular that are not even there? 3 and 4. But they told us they were in there at number 4 and looked gorgeous. Miles O'Brien, Seth Dorn, TEPCO. Miles O'Brien was on the stage in the last month propagating the lie out there again. TEPCO was on the stage showing you the press pictures of a perfectly intact building. You can't get a picture of that with that technique because it's not there. A little snappy this morning, Dana. Because it's so ludicrous. Because it's so mentally retarded that I got to come here and do this every day, talk about this, and bludgeon the system. How come? Because they can't work that out? No, because they understand that and they're trying to come up with a new way to lie to you every day. Catherine's been struggling for 35 years to tell the lies. It's like a banana, it's like getting on an airplane, it's like rocks. And we've covered their lies, what they say, at that press conference where they show, different countries with elevated level of background radiation, and say that's why Fukushima evacuees are allowed back in, because this country has more elevated background radiation, which is equal to what happened at Fukushima. No, it's not. They're completely different. One is your body, natural radiation can't hold anymore. It's called homeostasis. Your body equalizes it. Everything that comes out of that gets sequestered in your body, in your muscles, in your organs, and your bones. But yet, Catherine's the expert. And the press club won't question her. That's all they do. When she makes fun of the fact that she's a lawyer and there's 100 of them doing it, they blow up laughing along with everybody on the stage and her. One big fucking ha ha ha. But Dana, go out and do the whole coastline. Me, coming sure I get arrested, showing there's an extinction event. Catherine gets on the stage, and the media says she's the sweetheart of the industry. But then turn around and write articles saying that I'm a demon, and that we got to protect these scientists who are lying to everybody. It's something else when you think about that building you're looking at. You think about what Catherine and all of those experts are saying 1 month ago, and you think about they're shooting neutrons or murons to a building that don't even exist, and then they're coming out with these slick videos. This is TEPCO's video. Okay, keep going. Here's a quick one. Germany is completely sustainable with renewable energies. Just a few days ago. Not that I'm not condoning the lip TV. I can't stand these people, but they reported on a story. I happened to grab it.
The day when a major industrialized nation can power itself entirely on renewable energy has arrived. And Elliot, that day was Sunday, May 8th, and the country was Germany. The country of Germany had so much power produced by renewable sources on that day that the price of power went below zero. People were actually making a profit by using electricity that day.
Right, and because they made the money to pay for their bills, and then it was free after that. So they paid for their bills for the electricity, and they done it with renewables in such a short time since Fukushima. They went full tilt at it. So give them another 5 years. But yeah, you can replace a power plant. Like, think about, you can drive across your country and there's telephone poles everywhere you go. In every town, along the highway, everywhere you go, freaking ugly looking telephone poles. Think about how we got so many mountains. And how many people utilizes that mountain? How many people climbs around on that mountain? How many people blah, 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 right? On these mountains. None. Nobody wants to go up there. Nobody wants anything to do with it except a few explorers. But a mountain creates wind naturally. It does it two different ways. One, the cold air the air is falling, coming down, and the other one is the hot air is rising up it. And now you can capture that air and pressurize that air and use that pressure to spin. It only takes 30 psi, 30 pounds per square inch. That's less than what your tire has in it, to operate a generator to power your entire house. 30 psi, steady flow. You can power everything in your house. But we know we can create about 120 pounds of air from a mountain just by the air that's falling down and the hydraulic effect of reducing the size of the hose. Okay, but because this air is naturally flowing and you get incredible wind all day long on mountains. If you want to be cool, go up and get on a mountain, sit on a mountain on the hottest day of the year, and the wind is always blowing there. And so if you were to put 300 windmills on a mountain, they will blow 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They're not going to be in anybody's way. And they replaced the nuclear power plant. Or you can put a windmill every 600 feet for 300 miles. And you can replace a power plant. And you know how you have tree lines where you have telephone poles cut for hundreds of miles through forests? Yeah? It's no different than that. Do you see those 300 miles? How many times have you walked that 300 miles? How many times have you went and said, honey, you know, that 300 miles of telephone poles going through the forest, right? That gets in my way going to work every day, and I don't like looking at it and everything else. You've never done it in your life. But this is the power of the nuclear industry taking away the common sense. Look, think about common sense. The suicide bomber. What the fuck has that got to do with anything, didn't it? Well, you know, millions dead, millions missing, millions in refugee camps, millions of orphans, millions unaccounted for, destroying countries and patents and pensions and infrastructure and everything else. Okay. Somebody's going to get angry, strap on a bomb, try to go blow up the enemy who done that to him, who fired 5.5 million rounds a month and dropped a bomb a minute, 1,440 minutes a day, every day, for 9 years. And at the same time raped 29,000 of their own in the military. And then there was 22 veterans committing suicide every day. 80,000 in the same period, 9 years. And then you had 290,000 rapes in the military to get 10,000 Taliban. But anyway, displaced and refugees and orphans and everybody else grew up. Couldn't stand the misery anymore, strapped on a bomb because they didn't know what else to do or were coerced. And they went and blew themselves up. But every day, a bomber, think about a jet pilot with bombs on it for 9 years, dropping bombs all day, every day. No, all of those bombs are many, 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 many suicide bombers. But he's doing it all day, every day. So in other words, the suicide bomber wants to be effective, should become a jet pilot for the military or for the air forces. Or a tank. You know those Abrams tanks? You think about what you've done in these countries, 5.5 million rounds a month. Right? But then all the propagandas with suicide bomber might come here. But you bomb 2 countries right away, Iraq and Afghanistan, killing millions, displacing millions, putting millions in refugee camps to get 10,000 people, plus all that other carnage, right? You've done the same thing in Libya and Syria to get the same 10,000, Somalia and Yemen and everywhere else to get the same 10,000 Taliban. They're the same experts they roll out is no different than, like your whole system is based upon these things, these events, right? Like accidents and wars and economy, and and they have these handful of experts, and they are designed to lie to you and keep the lie alive in every one of these different aspects of your life. And Hollywood and the media reinforces it constantly and helps them. Okay. But Germany got electricity without nuclear, and they're well on their way, aren't they? Okay. 10:58. Now we still haven't got a return call. And I got a stream coming in I never got rid of. Let me get rid of that. Dina, screwing up the bandwidth. I'd open that chat over there. Good morning, everybody. Trying to resolve YouTube's issues. I know people are having problems. They're not getting the stream and everything else. Okay, next on the list today is I'm going to put all these experts. They run all kinds of operations against people that come out and talk about them or expose them, or right. They have all their students at their universities that they task to come out and monitor you, and then devise ways to marginalize people like me and attack me and demonize me. This is happening at all universities right across our countries. They all work the exact same way. They're all been captured by this corporate personhood. There's a legal amendment to the slavery laws that was meant to free slaves from an oppressive people and government, but was instead used by corporations to enslave a sovereign people, which are in democratic countries as we look at them right now. Okay, let's make a phone call. And what we're trying to find out is, because Jeff Palco was going to be buried at the funeral home. Now, Jeff Palco, for anybody who's not familiar with this, was a guy who donated to my Expeditions for Life. I'm going to call it today my expedition, just in order to terminology, because it is my expedition for life. I am the one who went out there and done it all and conceived it all and worked it out and went out and for 260 days on the ocean and done 15,000 miles of the coastline in British Columbia, Canada, up to 5 months without coming home. Me and my puppy. You know, strange thing about that is Zoe, my puppy, my dog, she's actually 16. She finally passed away on the last expedition last week, doing a bird count. But every cat in the neighborhood and every dog in the neighborhood has visited me this week, come into my house and come up to me and said hi to me and left again. And they all came through, and now the house is silent again. But it's really weird. They've never come to the house before. It's not weird in a bad way, okay? It's just weird. And so what we're going to do, we'll come over. But it truly is, it is weird. And I can't explain that, why I'm, I guess, saying that. I don't want to right at this second, but it is weird. It's a wonderful weirdness, trust me, but it's weird. And I haven't got you plugged in. Hang on, I'll plug everybody in. Now, you heard the lady yesterday at the cemetery say she was going to phone me back and tell me what plot Jeff Palco was in. Now, Jeff Palco donated the boat, but has been used by a guy known as Connecting Dots, who's not who he says he is, to demonize me while I was on the ocean since I came ashore. And this is Jeff Palco. Now, the obituary was removed. But what we're going to do is we're going to come over to Edinburgh Memorial Gardens. We verified that was their website, right? We talked about hang on. We talked about that. I asked her was that name and just highlighted the top left hand of the page. But they haven't called me back, and it's important that I follow up on stuff like this, and we've called them now. This is 4th phone call, and I'm not going to give them a hard time because they're running a funeral home, and they got enough. They're amazing people to work in that environment and be able to survive in that environment without cracking up. And so I'm not here to disrespect anybody like that. I'm just we're trying to find out what plot Jeff Palco is in. And I don't know if it matters, but I moved myself back this time. And the number you see on the screen is the number we're going to call. We'll have it on the speaker.
Good morning, Vietcam. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm looking for the cemetery, please.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a plot at the cemetery where a friend of mine is buried, and we don't know what number it is.
Oh, this is Vietcam communication.
Okay, I called the wrong one. My mistake. Take care. That's right. Vidcom called me this morning to make sure I was streaming on YouTube properly. So I'll just type that in. 1-403-217-8888. and 3700. Whoops. They got a big office, so they won't know it was me. We just called them. Poor girl. I was down there a month ago and met them. Here we go.
You may direct your call.
Yeah, cemetery, please.
Pardon me?
Cemetery?
This is the cemetery office. How can I help you?
Hi, it's Dana Durford calling back. I was talking to you.
Oh, yes. One moment. I'm not sure if Corinne's done with her family, but I'll find out, okay?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so, we'll just wait till she comes back online. So Jeff Palco, Connecting Dots was trying to take the boat away from me for some reason while I was on the ocean, saying I wasn't doing the expedition. I'll just keep an eye on this. And he wanted to bring down the Victoria to his garden. Now, no one knows who he is. Okay.
Thank you for holding. This is Corinne speaking.
Hi, Corinne. It's Dana Durford phoning. Sorry to bother you again. We're just trying to find out about Jeff Palco.
I'm sorry, you're cutting in and out?
I said we're trying to find out about Jeff Palco's plot there, what number it was.
Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry, I wasn't able to get back to you yesterday.
That's okay.
Jeff is not with us here.
Hey?
They have the urn in their care. And so at this point, he's not actually resting out here.
Okay, good stuff. I thank you. My apologies for the inconveniences.
That's okay, no problem.
You take care now.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, ain't that interesting? Palco apparently is real. That was a friggin' lot of work. That took us a long time to work this one out. But apparently Palco was real. And now it appears that Connecting Dots could have murdered him. And he definitely drove him to suicide. And we have that documentation. And so we'll have to go start that investigation. And we'll have to go after him. Because he caused that murder. We got the emails where he harassed him and tried to get Jeff to take the boat away from me. So Jeff is looking like Jeff was a victim of Palco. Palco was a victim of Connecting Dots, and for sure at this stage. Wow. And so we're not going to let that one rest. We're not going to let that go away. We want him up on manslaughter and murder charges. He very well could have went out there and poisoned him. Because he's been using Jeff Palco's to destroy the whole operation, the whole expeditions and everything else relentlessly, viciously, violently. And so we want to find out for sure at this stage now what happened. Ain't that interesting today? And that's a sad day now that we know that Jeff is now officially has died. And that the person who was harassing him, I was on the ocean when all this was going on, was Connecting Dots. We got the emails from a lot of the hounds from Jeff talking about how Dots had him drove insane, and he don't know who Dots is or anything about him, but he wants to go out on the ocean, take the boat away from Dana, and bring it home to himself for some reason. Who the hell would do something like that? Why would someone do something like that? Why could someone even conceive something like that? How can somebody be so heartless to try to do something like that? Why was he attacking relentlessly on Jeff Palco? I'll be calling the registry anyway later today in Alberta to make sure that he's actually dead, because you can't trust the friggin' industry. You just can't trust it. slips in and it hacks the site and puts something in the file, and then they read it and they say, Mr. Durnford, blah, blah, blah. That's how that industry works. So we'll be contacting the death registry too. Ray Fix, it says he saw it all, and everybody else knows what I'm saying is true. So that was really important. Hi, everybody. That we knocked that one out of the park and finally got it resolved on what's going on. Now we know what our next course is going to be. We got to bring a charge against Dots for causing that person to commit suicide by relentlessly attacking him with a fable in order to get at us. So Jeff's suicide was caused by Dots in order to demonize us. And when Dots committed suicide, instead of giving him the boat because he drove him insane, then Dots used that as a leverage to dehumanize us and to attack me relentlessly and viciously and violently without any justification. And so not only is lawsuits warranted here, not only is harassment, not only is criminal harassment, but also most likely manslaughter charges are coming up for this guy known as Louis L'Amour. Could be Don L'Amour too, which allegedly is two brothers, Louis and Don L'Amour, in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, that have been the most despicable types of human imaginable so far. Not a good day, but it is what it is, and we got something we can work with. Now we know what we got to do for Jeff Palco. And so I guess the onus is on me for all of this, as usual. Yeah. And I don't mind at all. And so we will pursue these matters legally now from here out. And I won't be sharing that information because the prosecution won't want me doing that, I'm sure. But I can assure you now that I will be prosecuting, personally going after these people, and we'll try to flush out this whole system that is doing this to us and that has just helped destroy this planet. They're not getting away with it. Even if you kill me, you're not getting away with it. It's just not going to work. And I don't care if you kill me, because I'm not going away. That's as simple as that. That is the way it's going to be. And then we got people like Catherine and everybody else out there that are murdering us, destroying us. We got Miles O'Brien there wrecking everybody with these fables and these lies. And we see Germany can now sustain itself. See, Catherine doesn't show you anything like that. She doesn't say the fuel pools are on the roof. What camera? That camera. No fuel pool on the roof of that one. No fuel pool here, mister. Well, that's a shocker today anyway. That's a sad day today. Okay, what else have I got for everybody this morning? Let's do a switch this morning. Let's go backwards. Let me see. Evaluation of environmental tritium levels in pre-operational periods. And 1996, it was 7.4 becquerels. We're talking about tritium-3H basically. So as you start going back through all these studies and looking at you look at the risk of leukemia in children, exposure to tritium-carbon-14 in Germany, fallout from the atmospheric testing. Significant within 5 kilometers of a nuclear power station. When you start looking at all the studies in proper perspectives and understanding what's really going on, bone tumors by short-lived bone sinking, which is like strontium and stuff like that, that acts like calcium, right? Everything that comes out of a nuclear man-made chain reaction, because they give them the same names a lot of the times as stuff in nature, because they have the same similarities, they act the same way as natural stuff, but natural stuff doesn't sequester in your body, and you can't read natural with a Geiger counter, for instance. But if it's man-made, they check you with a Geiger counter for man-made. They're not checking you for natural, because natural is good for you. You've been around natural all your life. Italy, pre-Fukushima studies, less than 10 becquerels right around the world in all these studies, right? tritium and natural water, 1953s. But if you go through all these studies, you'll see the same things I'm showing you. 5 or 10 becquerels per 100 liters per cubic meter, which is 1,000 liters, etc., etc., etc. If you look at the studies pre-Canada, five to 12 becquerels, Great Lakes open water. This is Canada. 7 to 10 becquerels during 82, 89. 9 to 11 becquerels, 93 and above it. These are due to the reactors. Now, wait for it. Now, in Canada, we're allowed 7,000 becquerels a liter. 7,000 becquerels a liter. On your right-hand side are artificial and strontium. We're allowed iodine. Strontium, every day you got more strontium in you. Every day you got more. The iodine 131, there's 10 times more 132. And that ionizes and radiates your thyroid gland 9 times more effectively. Hang on, I'll get there. And there's 30 times more 132 with the same principle, properties. There's 30 times more 130, 31 times more 133. 30 times more 133, and 31 times more 129 iodine with a 15 million year half-life that came out of a chain reaction. This is not something that fell out of the sky from sunshine and everything else. This is not your natural radiation. But look at Canada's new drinking water standards. Now look at the far side, total uranium, lead, and radium, the natural radionuclides. Jack shit. But artificial, we don't care about you. And that is because, that is a direct result of these people. This 100 expert that she was talking at the beginning of the video. That they're the untouchable. And that they can murder everything on this planet, and they'll walk around a big stupid looking grin on their face as if they're special. Zero conscience about what they do. Zero remorse for the misery and the agony and the heartbreak and the suffering caused by their fucking words. So they can have a paycheck. So they can pretend they're special. Like she done that time in that video. So you should cherish us, and everybody blew up laughing, including everybody on the stage. Including Tepco, the second guy from the right in that background stage. Who showed you the interior unit 4 that don't exist. Who showed you, I'll bring that picture back up one more time for you. Because it's hard to believe that, see? It's hard to believe he's saying that building there, no different than Seth Dorn doing it to us. Tepco done it to us. Saying that it looks like that inside of this. Right? Something that don't exist. They're checking it with neurons to see if the fuel... This was a 10-story building. See, there is no top to that building. Hang on, I'll find that one more time for you. Right, they're going to check that with neurons. They're going to shoot through a building that don't exist. They're going to shoot through a building that does not exist. And it's the same thing for Unit 4. And there's Unit 3, rather. But Unit 3 and 4 together, look. Now, Unit 4 looks like the building is still tall and everything. Don't it? But they tore it all off. And there was a big fucking mess there before they showed you something that don't exist. Right? 1 month ago. Okay. But that's the inherent problem. Is that we have these events. We know we got... This stuff is based upon just a release. A single release. All the stuff I'm going to show you is based upon venting from that. But nothing from here. Nothing from there. Nothing from here. So this modeling's from different countries. Right, the first one is Austria, Norwegian Institute for Air Research. Now think about that plume. It's only based up on 2 isotopes, but it's really friggin' bad. But it's not based up on all the reactors or the meltdowns or anything, or the lost reactor cores that were on the roof that they're pretending they're going to shoot root neurons through and look at. It's so ludicrous. It's so demented that anybody could work this out in media if they tried. All these institutions model it. The plume were right around the planet within 40 days. France modeled it. Everybody's out modeling it. The last one from the Norwegian Institute May 11th because of all the blowback. But look at what it done. See, that got right back to Japan within 40 days. That was right across your continent and the ocean at the same time, but it never stopped coming out of there. But the initial plume from the detonations, the fires, it's not like a campfire where the wood burns and disappears. See, it's not like a campfire. Let me bring up another couple of models while we close down the show here. We call it a day, a weekend, I'm not sure. I just want to work all the time now. I don't want to do nothing but work. I just play that in the background. But imagine if the model included all 4 reactors releases. And each reactor had 5 million pounds in it. Not a venting. That's all this model is based upon, is venting. But because a gram of it is 88 times 37 billion atoms. That's what a model looks like that. That model is only based upon one isotope. And an insignificant one, iodine-131. And there is cesium in that one too. But these are tracers. That's all they are. No one gives a fuck about them. I'm worried about the americium, neptunium. I'm worried about the curium and all the daughters of the curium. I'm worried about the uranium and the plutonium. And we know everybody in North America was breathing in hot particles for months. It's unimaginable that they never told us to shelter in place and try to avoid some damage. It's unimaginable they never told us in our countries to keep our kids home for a couple of weeks to avoid the big plumes coming through, the most deadly plumes. It's unimaginable that we paid them, we gave them the authority, the money, the monetary, the education, and everything else to do that to us. Dana. Hi, I'm live streaming right now, Adam. Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Adam. Okay, good stuff. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That's another radio show for next week. I'll call him after. Yeah, I hear you, Neb Killer. If I gotta go, don't go by myself. No, I'll be launching another expedition later this year on the ocean, for sure. We gotta go out and do another species count for a couple of weeks or a month or something. We got all the equipment. Right, we'd be morons not to do it. It'd be absolutely unforgivable when I look back that I didn't do that. That I didn't take advantage of having everything there after the hard work we put through to get to that point and not utilizing it. Not trying it, at least trying anyway. Even though I can't imagine. Like, you gotta realize 260 days is a lot different than going out for a couple of weeks with everything. All I gotta do is just fund it. It's not cheap to fund these operations, don't get me wrong. It's bizarre. It's bizarre how much money can cost sometimes to accomplish anything and accomplish nothing, but you still got to keep going till you accomplished it. That's the problem with this. You know, it's just, it is what it is, and we are leading that charge. We are on the moral high grounds for doing what we're doing, and we have no options. And it's not something I want to do. It's something that my soul tells me I have to do. It's something that drives me insane because I haven't done it again already, because the documentation, the data, the information is invaluable, even though it doesn't seem that way. We've done 15,000 miles of the coastline and everybody ignored it. But what we done was we proved there was an event. We proved the 4.2 million other species didn't come in and reseed the coastline of British Columbia, Canada. We went out in this operation that Jeff donated the boat and the big motor, but everything else, I mean, is donated from people all over the world. We funded it and operated. We've done 15,000 miles of coastline, and instead of life like this throughout the coastline for 260 days, this is a Haida, formerly known as the Queen Charlotte Islands, for goodness sakes. Just way out into the very reaches of nature you can go in Canada. There's 26,000 islands here. There's a very small population. Very few people are capable of doing what I've done anyway, of going out and doing the whole coastline. It's one thing to go out offshore and go fishing, another thing to go into the rock piles all day, every day. That might not look like a rock pile to you, but trust me, the dangers that I talk about, just making it back in every time and getting fuel and grub and making sure everything is working all the time, making sure you have everything necessary to survive it and get through it each time. It's not something I would ever want to try to do again. But I done it because of desperation. I done it because we had to know. I done it because of people like TEPCO and people like Miles O'Brien and Seth Dorn, Catherine Higley, and all the other puking machines on this planet. I done it because these people are the ones that are controlling this entire ecosystem's destiny with their unbelievable, disparaging lies about reality. It's shocking that these people are at the top of their pedestal, that they're sitting in positions of power and influence, and that they influence Congress and Senate, and that they're the go-to people for the press club. It's such a betrayal to even consider that is happening, yet to be able to show you that is actually the case. That 100 people have fucked everything on this planet, the other 8 million species included, and that we need a revolution of people coming and getting and bringing common sense to this debate, of bringing some rationale to this debate, of bringing the truth out. And then it's supposed to be that simple. Someone brings the truth out and that goes viral. But the opposite has happened. He brought the truth out. I was arrested. I was demonized. I was vilified. I was attacked. I was marginalized every way imaginable by a handful of people. Connecting Dots 2, Connecting Dots 3, Silver Gold Man played a significant part and continues to. And is remorseless. Has no compunction about using everything and anything to get at us and try to destroy us. But we show you the documentation, show you the evidence. But you're being, the media, you can't even go to the media. You can't even go to your experts. You can't even trust the bloggers like we thought we could. Connecting Dots actually toured Canada and took donations. And when he got back, his site magically disappeared, and all the people who donated him lost track of him, the majority of them. I know Thomas Ackerman donated $25 to that guy back then. And what did Dots do after that? He attacked Ackerman. Because Ackerman thought he was the real deal. He was trying to support somebody out there was trying to get the truth because he understood it. No different than why people support Kevin Blanche, and so they should, and so they always need to. And if we had 1 million Kevin Blanches, I wouldn't have to exist. And these people would all be on their fucking back right now. Every one of them. In their little bunkers hid away because their families were trying to get at them for all the misery they created on this planet. But long story short, the documentation of 15,000 miles of the coastline is up at the nuclear proctologists. All I ever said I was going to do was go out and look at the coastline. And the coastline, I was going to take samples, but there was no samples to take. There was less than 100 species, but never 100 species in some spot, mostly 10 at best. And so the story became going and looking at the coastline and seeing if this was true throughout the whole coastline, looking for the 6,500 highly visible species. And at the nuclear proctologists, we show an extinction event. That means the Pacific Ocean has died. And then every species in the ocean, the mammals, the animals, the insects on the coastline, the birds on the coastline, everything has been taken down to 1% to 1% or less, or is completely gone. And everything that we see dying starved to death. The polar bears, 3,000 polar bears in the Antarctic are predicted now to die of starvation. Allegedly there was abundance of food there. But for 3 years in a row they're emaciated, and I've covered the polar bears before in this. And then all the whales and mammals and animals and birds that died on the coastline in the last 6 months have been admitted that zero food, zero in their stomach, zero. Because when they come ashore, there was nothing there to eat either. The squid are gone, the anchovies, the sardines, the herring, the major krill, all the most important feeder fish have been reduced to zero in major areas, and the industries have all failed, or they have literally disappeared. And the headlines are, the majority of these have disappeared from the Pacific Ocean. They're showing up in patches here and there, but that's usually just die-offs. The ocean is suffocating. The ocean is heating up because of all the radiation. That's where we got all these superstorms. They're going to try to blame the deformities on Zika. Zika's deformity is the exact same deformity as radiation. if you breathe in radiation and have a child, you can expect those kind of deformities. The exact same ones. They're posturing. They're trying to come up with ways to imprison us and blame it on something else. And if they get desperate, they are vile and demented enough to start a nuclear war, rather than be exposed, rather than have an awakening, rather than get rid of nuclear. It's time to detonate everything and get rid of us. They're trying now to slow kill that turned into a fast kill because the death of the Pacific Ocean. Everything else has to fall too. And it won't be long. Dr. Raymond Gilmedes from Loveless Respiratory Research Institute, very quick, his studies on 144 beagle dogs out of 94 studies really shows the case. Tumors of lung, skeleton, and liver after 3 years. Bone tumors in 93 dogs were the most common cause of death. The last two sentences, these findings in dogs suggest similar biological dose-related effects could be expected in humans accidentally exposed. You should read it. I'm starting to memorize all this stuff anyway. But not in the proper order. Dana, let me get rid of all of that. Hang on, I'll get back. We'll say good day to everybody. All that documentation was at the nuclearproctologist.org. Come on and say hi to everybody. Move myself over. Say good. Have a nice weekend, everybody. I'm not doing nothing all weekend. I won't be taking any time off the weekend. I'll be busy doing what I'm doing. What I do all day, every day, and why I exist, and why I show up here every day. And it takes me all morning, man. From 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning when I wake up to get everything sorted out, get everything ironed out, get everything set up, all the lights on, get all the equipment, import everything, find the rest of it, and do this 1 hour show. And I'll do this until it's not necessary anymore. But I don't think that day will ever come. Hugs for everybody. It's Ron, not Don. Thanks, Jan. My mistake. Ron and Louis L'Amour. We don't know which is which. We think one of them, is using the idea of the other one to disguise themselves. So it's Ron or Louis L'Amour. It looks like that's actually his name. And hugs for everybody. Shani Ken, yeah, thank you. Lori, thank you, Lori. Thank you for what you do, honey. Thomas Ackerman, thank you, Thomas. And you'll find links below the video to all these people that are blogging and putting information and documentation out there, including Lori. Nuts for Art. We got to get Nuts for Art dinner at some point. I got to make room down there for you. I haven't forgot about you. I just got to make room down there for you. Zippity Zip, Amthurst, Alex, Soldier. Hugs for everybody. And Lonnie, thank you, Lonnie. And your eye colors. Hello, everybody. And thank you, everybody. And I'll be back on Monday morning. Yeah, how come there isn't 42,000 for Pilla? I'm just looking for names for a call of the day. I can bring up the other camera so it don't look so weird to everybody, but kind of too late for that because Candace and everybody else. Not a great stream, I guess, is a better way of looking at it. Every day that we do stream, no matter how much you smurf up, it's still a great stream. That's just the reality of it. And that academics and journalists and scientists need to go over to the nuclear proctologist and look through my documentation and contact a marine biologist and have them explain why the pictures look like that throughout the whole coastline and why 4.2 million other species didn't recede the coastline. It's an extinction event. And if you're not going to support the truth, if you're not willing to consider another narrative and talk about it in the medias, then why do you exist? And why should your family not abandon you in the future when they do? When they abandon you to find out that you're a lawyer and you're a nuclear scientist and your family hates you, it was your fault. If you're a journalist in the future and your family finds out what you've done, how you lied about Fukushima, how you lied and put the lying machines up there and helped them lie, and your family despises you and don't want nothing to do with you and vilify you, it was your fault. And history will look back and say that we were the good people. We were the morally aware people, and that we fought with everything we had and every bone and every muscle, and every fiber to convey that out to our friends and families and loved ones who are tricked and deceived and manipulated by this disgusting, pathetic, useless, academic world that has taken on a meaning of nothing but betrayal. Hugs for everybody. Dana loves you all. Don't think I don't. Take care, folks.